Hey everyone, it's Warriors NRL Fanatics here. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Before getting into the video, if you are a new viewer to this YouTube channel and you haven't done so already, make sure you don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Subscribing really shows your support for the content that I do, and it also really helps the channel in terms of the algorithm as well, and it lets people know of the channel also as well. So I'd appreciate it if you subscribe if you haven't done so already, and make sure you don't forget to like this video. Make sure you click the thumbs up button on this video as well. Now today I am going to be previewing the upcoming match between the Melbourne Storm and the NZWarriors round 2 NRL fixture played on Saturday the 16th of March at Amy Park down in Melbourne. The game kicks off at 6:35 PM Queensland time for me, and that'll be a 7:35 PM for viewers in New South Wales and Sydney. And for the New Zealand viewers, I believe it is 9:30 over there in New Zealand. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments if that's absolutely wrong. But for viewers in New Zealand, Sky Sports is where you can watch it. And I'm not too sure if it's live on free to air there, so you might have to, check your guides for whether it is showing there on free to air. But I'm pretty sure free to air in New Zealand are showing some games of the Warriors this year as well, like they did last year. So make sure you check your guides. But for viewers in Australia, you can watch it on Foxtel and KO, which I will be doing, watching it on KO. So we'll get into the team list and we'll go through some of the key matchups and stats and all that, and give my prediction for this game. Now, going with the Warriors team first, so we'll go through the away side. So no changes to the team that was that lined up in round 1, unchanged despite concerns over the injury of Wade Egan and Kurt Capewell. I am really surprised that they've been named here, considering that they didn't look great in that game. They came off the field, didn't play much minutes, but yeah, so fullback Tane Tuapiki there, Dylan Watini-Zelezniak on the wing, DWZ, Rocco Berry centres, and RTS, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, Marcelo Montoya on the other wing, Luke Metcalf 5'8", and Sean Johnson halfback, Adam Fanua-Blake prop, Wade Egan hooker, Mitchell Barnett other prop there, and Jackson Ford second row, Kurt Capewell and Tohu Harris the captain and the lock. Bench reads Freddie Lussick, Tom Ale, Bunty Afoa and Dylan Walker, and the reserves Adam Pompey, Jazz Tavanga, Tamare Martin, Ali Lautoa, and Chanel Harris-Tavita. So those that are coming into the reserves this week, that is Jazz Tavanga, who had a very strong performance for the New South Wales Cup team last week against the Newtown Jets, and also Tamare Martin and Chanel Harris-Tavita coming in, who had also had very strong performances in the halves, and they're named in the extended reserves there. So possibly a chance for maybe Chanel to come into the team, maybe come off the bench. Yeah, look, there's definitely a chance that he could be a late inclusion for this team on Saturday night. So that's the Warriors team, and yeah, the reserves and the starting side that we're lining up with. Now to the Melbourne Storm. So still no Cameron Munster and still no Nelson Asofa-Solomona. Massive, huge outs for the Storm. They did well without those two last week, but they are big outs considering that Nelson, always has a big game against the Warriors, and Cameron Munster always pretty much carves us up. So, bit of a blow there for the Storm not having those two there, but this is how they line up. So they've got Ryan Pappenhausen at fullback there at the back, Will Warbrick on the wing, Remus Smith in the centres with Nick Meaney, Xavier Coatsy on the other wing, and Jonah Pezzett 5'8", with halfback Jerome Hughes. Tui Kamakamika is the prop, and Harry Grant is the captain and the hooker. Josh King is the prop, and Joe Chan in the second row with Eliasa Katoa coming up against his former team in the Warriors. And Trent Liero is the lock. Bench reads Tyrone Wishart, Christian Welsh, Chris Lewis, and Alec McDonald. And the reserves Sean Bloor, Kane Bradley, Marian Seve, Sulave Falago, apologies if I pronounced that name wrong, and Tepai Mara, and that is the reserves for the Storm. So, generally speaking, overall, look, obviously the biggest worry is Wade Egan. Is he 100% to play this game on Saturday night? I am not quite confident that he will play this game. Now, fingers crossed, hopefully he does. Hopefully he gets through a bit of training, some fitness tests and all that, and hopefully he does line up. But I honestly could see the likes of Freddie Lussick come into the starting side and be the hooker, and Chanel Harris-Tavita coming off the bench as a late change, or probably Jazz Tavanga coming onto the bench. So that's probably what I could see happening if Wade Egan doesn't line up for this game, which probably for me, most likely, I think is unlikely. But hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong and he does play this game. But yeah, I'll be interested to see, if he does line up on Saturday night as named in this team list on Tuesday afternoon. But look, Warriors team, very strong. Other than Wade Egan is the biggest concern. Kurt Capewell as well. Kurt Capewell looks like he's okay. He looks like he's good to go. So, yeah, strong Warriors team. And, looking at the Melbourne Storm team now. So, the Melbourne Storm team, very, very good last week against the Panthers. Defensively, I thought they were strong. Attack, they were a little bit clunky. Obviously they only scored 8 points, but they conceded 0 against a very strong Penrith side, which was no easy feat against a Penrith side that's won 3 premierships in a row. And we know the attacking spark that Penrith have, and Melbourne kept them out relatively well. And Penrith had no answers to the Storm's defensive, strengths. And Melbourne have always been a strong defensive side over the years, but last year I thought Melbourne's defence wasn't as great as it has been as the previous years. So that's a very encouraging thing for the Storm, albeit it's only round 1. But the Melbourne Storm, if you look at their record over the Warriors, they have an incredible record over the Warriors over recent years. The Warriors have not beaten the Melbourne Storm in Melbourne since 2014. That was the last time we actually got a win over them. It is a big hoodoo to break. And look, remember who the coach was back then. That's right, it was Andrew McFadden who was the head coach. And he is now the recruitment manager at the One New Zealand Warriors. So the Warriors are looking to break that long traditional drought. And they're looking to break it against the Storm team in round 2. And look, it's a bit odd, isn't it, not having this game as an Anzac Day game, because we're used to seeing these two play on a massive occasion down there in Melbourne, but that is not the case. It is in the early rounds of round 2. So, man, this Melbourne team, obviously their strength really is probably for me going to be the fullback in Ryan Pappenhausen. Obviously, he is the big threat there to the Storm, to the Warriors. Nick Meaney as well, very underrated player. He can goal kick. And, we've seen him play a bit of fullback before, Nick Meaney. So Nick Meaney's definitely a bit of a threat there. You've also got Xavier Coates here on that wing. He can score abundance of tries there. Xavier Coates, very powerful, fast winger. And the Warriors are going to have to be watchful of him as well. Obviously, the biggest thing that the Warriors maybe can target is Jonah Peasant, because there's no Cameron Munster. And the Warriors have Luke Metcalf and Sean Johnson. So, look, I think Jonah Peasant is a decent player, but he is no Cameron Munster. So the Warriors can look for a weakness in the Storm team. It is target the 5'8" and Jonah Peasant. In my opinion, I think for sure that he will be a bit of a target that the Warriors will be looking to exploit as well. And look, the Storm's 4-pack, I thought the Storm 4-pack did the job last week. Not the strongest 4-pack in the competition by any means, but they did the job, and that's the main thing. You had Eliasa Katoa there, who's probably looking to have a very strong game up against his former team, the Warriors there. He will want to have a big one. Joe Chan, very good young player there. Tui Kamakamika, another good young player. But I think the 4-pack for me really is the strength of the Warriors, really. When you look at it, the Warriors have a better 4-pack for sure. They've got Adam Fanua-Blake, they've got Barnett, they've got Ford, Capewell, and Harris. And Jackson Ford, look, you're going to have to, make sure you don't drop the ball this week. Make sure you please don't drop the ball. We don't need any silly errors from, players this week. Not against the Storm team, definitely not, because we know Melbourne will make us pay. But it's not just on Jackson Ford, it's on some other players as well to make sure they don't make too many handing errors. Make sure we don't concede a lot of penalties. That was our problem against the Sharks last week. We were up 12-0, very comfortable, and we gave too many penalties away. It got the Sharks a lot of field position, and it finally paid off when the Sharks scored that early try before half-time. And then it tailed off in that second half. It really happened in that second half where the Sharks just they didn't run away with it. They won the game. They pretty much kept us scoreless in that second half. So the Warriors are going to have to tone down on the errors and the penalties conceded. They're going to have to be real disciplined against the Storm team, because you don't want to be giving a lot of opportunities and field position to this Melbourne Storm team. Although Melbourne aren't the same team they once were a couple of years ago, they've still got abundance of players here to be able to get the job done and perform as well. So don't expect the Warriors to be like last week. Expect the Warriors to be a lot more disciplined and more controlled. And once they have the field position, they have to take those opportunities. They've got to convert. They've really got to convert those chances, basically to state the obvious. Because if they don't convert it, the Warriors aren't any chance of winning this game. So, yeah, look, general speaking, in regards to looking at the bench too, and looking at the bench for me, I think, Melbourne have a pretty handy bench. They've got a handy bench. I reckon if you got the likes of Tom Ale, Bunty Afoe, and Dylan Walker, which, this bench could probably change come kickoff time, who knows? It may stay the same. We may see Jazz Savunga come onto the bench there. But I think this bench that the Warriors have, obviously, it needs to be better than what it was against the Sharks last week. There was the impact from the bench last week was, wasn't good enough, against the Sharks. And last week, I think our bench was probably exposed against the Sharks bench. The Sharks bench had a lot more punch, and they did the job. And the Warriors bench is going to have to do a lot better in terms of the way, they add the impact to the game. And Freddie Lussick, hopefully Freddie Lussick isn't, forced to play longer minutes. Hopefully not, because that's what happened last week. And look, although Freddie Lussick wasn't great coming off the bench, it wasn't all his fault, really. You've got to, he can only do what he's only going to do. And, he wasn't great, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't all on him when he came off the bench. It was definitely a tough time for him to come onto the field. So, yes, he didn't provide anything in terms of the attack, and I do agree that once Wadey comes off to the field, it's a bit of a downgrade, because we just don't have that spark in attack. Maybe Shino Harris-Tavita can provide that sort of spark off the bench. But yeah, generally speaking, if I was rating the bench and who I think has the better bench, I got to say, I know I'm a little bit biased here, but I feel like the Warriors have the better bench, for sure, over the Storm. And I feel like the Warriors probably get a 7 out of 10 for their bench. Over the Melbourne Storm, probably a 6.5 is a solid bench overall. But that is the teams. And now to look into the stats for this game. So we'll have a look into the stats, and boy, team stats head to head, it really doesn't read pretty for the One New Zealand Warriors. We know this. We already know really for sure that the Melbourne Storm have got the dominant force since 1998. Played 50 times, and the Storm have won 32. To the Warriors have won 16. That's right, only 16 games we have won head-to-head against this Melbourne Storm side, and there have been 2 draws. Now, the previous meetings, so the previous meeting was last year on Anzac Day. The Melbourne Storm won 30 points to 22 on Tuesday the 25th of April 2023. So, I remember that game because we started that game very strongly. We had a massive chance and a massive opportunity to beat the Melbourne Storm. And then that second half, unfortunately, we didn't have a bench. Our rotation was really affected because we didn't have a fit bench. And we had a lot of injuries in that game. And look, they won 30 points to 22 in the end. So it was a lot closer score that last year than it has been over the previous years when Melbourne have played the Warriors especially. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can turn that around, that form, that record against the Melbourne Storm. And just looking here, Melbourne's record at Amy Park, 75%. Overall, 118 to 157. And the Warriors are only 3 from 13 at Amy Park with a 23%. So, geez, it's not great at all, really. Not great, to be honest. And look, I do feel, I know I've said this last year, that it was a big opportunity for the Warriors to go over there and beat the Melbourne Storm, and we didn't. And we say it every year. We hope the Warriors break this Melbourne hoodoo. I feel like I'm much more confident that we can do it this time round. So, look, it's not on Anzac Day. Thank God. Thank God it's not Warriors Melbourne Storm on Anzac Day this year. It's a good change up from previous years. So, look, generally speaking for me, in regards to this game and the way I see it, the Warriors need to start this game well. The first 20 minutes, I think, is crucial for the Warriors. We saw the first 20 minutes against the Sharks last week, and we got off to a 12-0 lead, and then it tailed off. And look, if we get off to a 12-0 lead against the Melbourne Storm, which I think, you never know, it may be likely to happen, the Warriors have got to learn from those lessons. They've got to learn from what they did last week and bring it into this week. And I'm sure they will. I mean, in the training sessions this week, I'm sure that'll be in the back of their minds that, the execution has to be a lot better in attack. And, defensively, look, I thought defensively we weren't great. We did let in some soft tries against the Sharks team. So I'm sure defensively we're going to have to be a lot better and, take those chances that we get and convert them into the points in order to get this result over the Melbourne Storm. So, defensively, for me, very important. Start the game off well, kick to the corners, put pressure on this Melbourne Storm team, make them come out of their own end. Don't give them cheap possession, easy ball. Completion rates have to be high, of course. And, if we do all that and put the Storm under pressure, then we are definitely a chance of grabbing an upset over the Melbourne Storm down in Melbourne and our first win over them since 2014 down there at Amy Park. But huge game, massive game for me, very important. Look, I know it's only round 2 and some people might think I'm overreacting here, but it's definitely a must-win game. We've got to get this monkey off our back against the Storm team. A win against a team like Melbourne, a very top team who's been at the top for so many years. We've got to break this. We've got to break the stuck, for sure. We've got to do it. And, look, I believe we can do it, for sure. I'm very confident. I am a bit nervous as well because it is the Melbourne Storm. It's in Melbourne. Look. But we've got the team to do it. We can do it. We can definitely get this result and beat this Melbourne Storm team and get our first win of the season, which we will really need to do because we don't want to be going 0-2 heading into round 3 against the Raiders down in Christchurch the following week. So, prediction-wise here now. So, look, I'm going to go with the Wars, of course. I'm backing my boys in. I'm backing my heart over my head here. And I say the Warriors are going to win this game. Now, it is going to be a very tight one. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think this will be really defensive-orientated game for sure. Now, there will be some points in it, but I don't think there'll be a lot. So, I'm going to go Warriors to win this game by 24 points to 16. That's right, 24-16. The Warriors will win this game. And first try scorer, who am I backing? Well, I'm going to back Dylan Watini-Zalesniak for the first try scorer for the Warriors. For any-time try scorer, I am going to back the man himself, RTS. I feel like RTS will want to have a big game this week. First game was okay, it was alright, but obviously he probably could get a bit more attacking ball, and I feel like he may have a big one here against the Storm. So I'm going to go RTS here anytime. I'm going to go Berry as well, Rocky Berry, why not? Marcelo Montoya, And for a forward, why not throw an Adam Fanua-Blake again? He scored last week against the Sharks, and I feel like he will score in this game. So, Warriors to win, 24 points to 16, and they will get the win and break that long losing streak against the Melbourne Storm down there at Amy Park in Melbourne. But, guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Who are you tipping for this game? What is your prediction? What are your try scorers and your margin? Let me know in the YouTube's comments down below. Please make sure you comment down below your thoughts. I want to hear what you think leading into this game. And don't forget to make sure you like this video. Make sure you click the thumbs up button on this video. Click that thumbs up button. It really shows your support for the video as well. It helps also the channel. And, yeah, it helps the algorithm as well. Make sure you don't forget to share this video as well. Don't forget to click the share button. Share it to any Facebook groups, pages, Warriors forums, and all that. Make sure you share this video around. And don't forget to make sure you subscribe. If you are a new viewer to the channel, make sure you click that subscribe button. Subscribing really helps the channel, and it shows your support for the content that I do as well. And, yeah, trying to get to 3K subscribers. The goal is to get to 3K subscribers by the end of the 2024 NRL season. So help this channel get there by the end of 2024. And thanks, guys, for watching. Have a good rest of the week. And up the mighty Wars and bring on Saturday night's game against the Melbourne Storm. Cheers.